Good evening and welcome to the Ithaca Police Department. Thank you for joining us tonight. Before we get started, I'll go through a little house cleaning. As I mentioned earlier, the exits are to my left and to the right here. Please silence your cell phones so that we're not interrupted. We're joined tonight by Senior Investigator Rick Hawes to my right from the New York State Police, Chief of Police John Barber here at the Ithaca Police Department, City of Ithaca Mayor Savante Myrick, Andrew Benavia, the Acting District Attorney of Tompkins County, and Deputy Chief Vince Monticello from the Ithaca Police Department, and finally Lieutenant Alex Gare, Lieutenant of the Investigative Division for the Ithaca Police Department. I'll turn things over to Chief Barber at this time.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. I have a brief statement I'll read, and then I'll introduce the mayor and the ADA for a few words, and then we'll hopefully have an opportunity for a couple of questions afterwards. So about 9 weeks ago, on August 28, 2016, at approximately 1:57 in the morning, officers from the Ithaca Police Department and the Cornell University Police Department responded to a large fight at the intersection of College Avenue and Campus Road. Upon arrival, officers located 2 male victims suffering from stab wounds. One victim was flown to Upstate Medical Center for treatment of several stab wounds and was later released. The second victim, Anthony Nazaire, a 19-year-old Ithaca College School of Business Administration student from the Bronx, was transported to Cuba Medical Center where he was pronounced dead from his injuries. The IPD immediately launched a homicide investigation with the assistance of the New York State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigations, New York State Police Forensics Identifications Unit, the Cornell Police, the Tompkins County Sheriff's Department, the Ithaca College Office of Public Safety, the TC3 Police, and the Tompkins County District Attorney's Office all assisted. The intensive investigation consisted of tracking down hundreds of leads, which allowed us to develop a suspect. The investigation culminated this afternoon with the arrest of 23-year-old Nagee Green of Freeville, New York. Green was taken into custody without incident at 1:34 p.m. in the area of the 1600 block of Dryden Road in Freeville. He was there waiting for a bus. Nagee Green, the defendant in this case, will be charged with the following penal law crimes. He'll be charged with 1 count of murder in the 2nd degree, which is a Class A1 felony. He'll be charged with 1 count of assault in the 2nd degree, which is a Class D felony. The next step in the process is to move the case to the grand jury for further proceedings on the next available date, which will be November 10th. I would like to personally thank the members of our community who came forward and assisted us as we investigated this heinous crime. Again, I would like to thank my officers and the police personnel from the agencies you see here who worked tirelessly to solve this case and bring the defendant before the court. This act of unspeakable violence has no place here in Ithaca and is not representative of the community we are here in Ithaca. To the Nazaire family, I again offer my sincere condolences from all of the area law enforcement agencies and from the entire Ithaca community for this tragic and senseless murder of Anthony, who by all accounts was an amazing young man with such a bright future. Thank you. Next up, I would like to introduce Mayor Myrick, who will have a few words.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here to help us communicate with the public. This is a crime that stunned all of us, and I know shook our entire community. It's not something we were used to in Ithaca, New York. First homicide we've had in Ithaca in over 5 years. And many of us did not know how to respond. I've got to tell you that we are very fortunate that the Ithaca Police Department, the New York State Police Department, Cornell University Police, Ithaca College Public Safety, they did know how to respond. They've been working tirelessly to make sure we could find who was responsible. Because a crime like this, of course, has robbed Anthony's family of their pride and their joy, robbed a young man of the promise of the rest of his life, and it robbed so many of us of our sense of security. Because that's what crimes like this do. They make us feel less safe in our own streets and in our own homes. So the hard work of our police agencies have meant that while we may not have any solace tonight, we can be assured that we will have justice. I wanted to be here to thank especially the Ithaca Police Department, but all of the agencies who worked so hard to investigate. Thank you. And yes?
Yes.
Okay, now the acting district attorney.
Good evening. For those of you that have had a chance to speak with me in the past, you know that as district attorney, I'm not one to talk about the evidence. I wait until the trial for that information to come out. So I'm not going to speak about that too much here tonight. I will talk about and commend all the different police agencies that worked in this case. It was the end of August and early September when all the different police agencies met in this very room day after day and methodically and very clearly and hard work went through all the evidence in this case. And I appreciate the community understanding that that takes some time and allowing the police officers to do their job. It is a real testament to this community that all the different agencies that you see here tonight all work together so effortlessly and so well and efficiently. I also want to thank the family of Anthony Nazaire, understanding that this does take time and that a good solid investigation actually takes time to go through step by step, and that they've been understanding and allowing the police officers to do that job. Thank you.
We have a few moments for a couple of questions, recognizing that some things we're just simply not going to be able to answer.
Could you repeat the charges and actually spell the man's name who was arrested?
Sure. The charges are murder in the second degree, 1 count. That is a Class A1 felony. And assault in the second degree. That is a Class D felony. And the correct spelling of his name is Nagee, N-A-G-E-E, Green, G-R-E-E-N.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what his connection to the victim was?
We're still sorting through those details. I'm not going to speculate at this point. Yes, sir?
Can you tell us when Green was first identified as a suspect?
Again, that goes back to the investigation. I will tell you that a number of leads have come in that have helped us to develop that suspect, but I'm not going to pinpoint the specific date. Yes, sir?
Do you expect additional arrests, and was a knife the murder weapon used in this?
Another thing I can't speak to is any evidence in the case, but like I said, we're going to take this case to the grand jury, so it is likely that there may be additional charges, but I can tell you that what he's been charged with today are the following 2 crimes that I mentioned.
Additional arrests, or are there any other suspects that you're looking at?
I didn't know.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, George.
Why did it take so long to have an arrest? I mean, I'm assuming that Green didn't become a suspect today. He had to have been a suspect for a while, and this person is out on the street, the rest of the community. So why did an arrest take so long to come about?
Well, this isn't like TV where you can watch an episode and, you know, you see the crime and the conclusion all within a 1-hour period. It takes time to gather the evidence and put together a good, solid case that you can bring before the court. And, you know, that's what we've done here. I don't think any amount of time is too much time, as long as we're able to bring the person responsible to justice, and we'll let the court take it from there.
Is Green a student at either Ithaca College or Cornell?
He is not a student.
Okay.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you tell us whether or not he knew either of the victims before the night of the...
It doesn't appear that he knew them. Yes, sir.
Has Green been arrested prior to this event?
You know, we were looking into to see if there's a previous criminal history, and I just can't comment on that at this point. Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate any further on the incident that led to the stabbing at this point?
I'm not going to speak directly to motive. I will say that there was an altercation, there was a fight, there were several people fighting, and it stemmed from that. Yes,
With a race up coming for the district attorney, will that hinder any progress in the prosecution?
It'll have no effect on it, no. Yes, Ms.
He's being charged with Nazaire's death, but is he also being charged in the stabbing for the other gentleman that was there on the scene? Is that
Yes,
the
the other
assault charge?
victim, who was also 19 years old, that is the assault second charge, is for that stabbing. Great. Yes, sir.
Is the Ithaca Police still not releasing the name of the other victim?
That's our policy. We don't release the victims of crimes' names. Yes,
So
sir.
you said there was a large crowd during the altercation. If that was so, then why could none of them identify Green?
That's a great question. You know, it took a lot of prodding to get people to come forth with video that we were seeking. And again, it was dark at night, you know, it's night. It just took time to put it all together. I'll take a couple more. Yes?
And you said you previously had asked the public for any of those videos, any sort of information. Did you receive any, and if so, how much?
We did receive video. I'm not going to comment again on evidence as to how many specific videos, but we also do believe there may potentially be more video out there, and we'll ask for more, you know, people who may possess that to bring it forward. Yes, sir.
Chief, what is the bail set at?
Well, the arraignment hasn't taken place as of yet. The charges are being drafted. He's going to be arraigned later this evening. I'll take two more. Sir?
Following up on what the mayor said, this is the first murder in the city in 5 years. And it took 2 months, but there is an arrest. Is there anything you want to say to the community as to the safety of it tonight versus earlier this afternoon?
Yeah, I would say the community is in a safer place right now with this person taken off of the street. This is overall a very safe community. Several years ago, we were voted the most safest city in America with a population of less than 150,000 people. And that's something that we here at the Ithaca Police Department take pride in. Obviously, there's a number of reasons why we were voted that safe city, but the police department certainly played a role in that. Yes, please.
You mentioned that the Green was getting onto a bus when he was taken into custody. Was it expected? Do you know, was he trying to flee the area, or was he just getting on?
It was a transit bus that we believe he was taken to downtown Ithaca.
Was he brought in on probation violation initially?
No,
He was charged with the crime.
Correct. One more question. All right, thank you all very much for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it.